Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to 5 Props Friday. We're going to be testing the 5 best 1.2 inch propellers for your 65mm tiny whoop. What do you think of that? Towards the tail end of Whoop Wednesday this week, I compared for the second time, I compared the GemFan 1210 biblades to the brand new low pitch HQ ultralight props, 1.2 by 0.9 by 3s. And so I was comparing them on the Air 65 Champion Edition, which has a pretty dialed in PID tune. It actually comes with 2 PID tunes, which is really cool. Profile 1, which is the tune for the GemFan 1219S propellers, and then PID tune 2, which is backed off a little bit for the HQ old school ultralight props, the more pitchy ones. I believe they're 1.2 by 1.2 pitch by 3. And for whatever reason, well, here's what I will say. 2 of the motors on here are starting to get banged up. Motor 2 and motor 3. They both are vibrating. Just for me crashing this a bunch, as these little tiny motors with 1mm motor shafts do. The motor shafts are not thick enough. They're not strong enough. They bend. We've been dealing with this for a while. When I switched back from the HQ 1.2 by 0.9s to the GemFan 1210 biblades, I must have crashed it hard enough to bend the motors a little bit extra. All of a sudden, the PID tune was too aggressive for the 1210 biblades, but it was not too aggressive for the 1.2 by 0.9 HQ triblades. And essentially what that means is that these triblades are better balanced than the GemFan 1210 biblades. Not totally surprising. The 1210s have been out for a long time. I think they've been out for like 2 years, maybe more than 2 years. As propellers, as more and more new propellers get released, they're better balanced and better balanced and better balanced. This has been the case forever. Going back 6, 7, 8 years ago, there were a couple of really good performing propellers that were just not balanced at all. Like, they were very poorly balanced out of the box. That I would actually sit, and we're talking like 3-inch, 2.5-inch, 2-inch, and I would actually sit there and file material off the blades to balance them because they were that good. They were like the best performing propellers, but they were out of balance. As the years have gone on, consistently, the newer versions of propellers, the newer propellers that have come out have been a little bit better balanced year over year over year over year. And I think that's what we're seeing here. Also, it is harder to make a biblade. It is harder to balance a biblade than a triblade. If one of the blades is out of balance, is, let's say, a little bit heavier on a biblade, it's very noticeable, and it will make the PID loop freak out. Whereas with a tri-blade, it's not as bad if you have one blade that's a little too heavy or a little bit too light. And so I think we were seeing a combination of those two things, but that's really important. You're not going to sit here and balance these propellers. It's almost impossible to do it, first of all. Reliably, at least. And it's just silly. Don't balance quad propellers. What happens when you sit here and you spend hours balancing quad propellers is then you go out and fly your rig really carefully and you never crash that rig, because for the love of God, I'm not going to sit here for another hour and balance another propeller to put on the thing, right? And that's silly. This is why that is one of the big reasons that I try really hard to only test and fly and recommend off-the-shelf parts. If you sit here and you customize this thing like crazy and drill holes in it and do all kinds of wacky stuff that you can't just buy off the shelf, you're not going to fly it hard. And if you do fly it hard, you're going to blow it up, and then you're going to sit here and re-customize the new setup, and then you're going to fly it a little bit less hard, and then you're going to blow it up, and then you're going to customize another setup, and you're going to fly it even less hard. See what I'm saying? And like with tiny whoops, flying them hard is just way too much fun. I mean, quads in general, flying them hard and crashing them is really magic. And like, it's something that you can't get elsewhere, right? I come from a motorsport background where like you can't do that shit. Like we would be able to push beyond the limit in an autocross setting because we were below 80 miles an hour and there was usually a good amount of runoff. But you couldn't go completely nuts. Like you could push to like 11 tenths, but you couldn't push to like 15 tenths because then you would hit something or someone. And especially like with track days where there's concrete barriers and sand traps and stuff like that, where the car can literally go shiny side down. You can't just be completely reckless and crash all the time. It's just, you'll die. With FPV, like that's always been one of the really magical things, is just like, you can push as hard as you want. You can crash as often as you want. You come home, you fix it at a simple little workbench in the heat, in comfort, without like punching metal, like when you fix cars. And it's just, it's a part of FPV that really is magic. And so if you're not crashing all the time, start crashing all the time. I promise you, you'll love it. You might not love it, but you'll get a lot better as a pilot. That's another thing, is that you don't know what's possible until you push yourself beyond your limits. And so if you want to get good, start crashing more. With the caveat of the crashes when you just throw the thing at the gap with reckless abandon, you don't learn much there. You learn a little bit, but you don't learn as much as when... So like if your skill level is 1 through 10, and you just hurl it at the gap, and it's a move that's like 20, a level 20, you're not going to learn very much. You want to do stuff that's like level 11, level 12, level 13, stuff that's like a little bit outside of your skill level. That's where you're going to learn the most, and that's where sort of the magic is. And just do that as often as you can. The other thing that's nice about that is you're not crashing so hard typically that you break everything. Sometimes you do, although not with tiny whoops. God, are they durable. So yeah, there's my pitch for crashing more, my friends. In the chat, Frosty was first, Northern Tier, Sciotic, Cheatonian, Brian Tegger, Hockey Rounds, Cole Powers, Crom Douglas, 6, Curtis Hayes, Uriel, Freelojo, Metal Dirtskin, Lewis, Freelojo again, Espander, Cole Powers, CMYKFPV, Metal Dirtskin, CF Kinetic, 7-0, Brian Tegger again, Doubles FPV, Troy Prelog, what's up everybody, Disabled Combat Android, what's up friends, thanks for coming by. I think we're going to test on this guy. I've flown this Air 65 Champion quite a bit lately, and so I'm most dialed into this. So I believe this is what we're going to do all of our testing on tonight. We are going to test these 5 different propellers. So that the 5 different propellers that we're testing are, and realistically with Tiny Whoops, these are the only propellers that are worth running. The reason being is that these propellers do a better job with durability, balance, flight performance, lightweight. Those are really the 4 main things. Than any other propeller that's out there. And like these 5 props are way better than any other propellers, to the point where I'm literally telling you, don't bother to run any other propeller on your 65mm motor-to-motor Tiny Whoop. And like, there's no reason for me to, I have nothing in this. Yes, I'm sponsored by GemFan, but like, it's a sponsorship of like, when you want to try a new prop, maybe we'll send it to you. I haven't gotten a sponsor box from GemFan in over a year. And so, yeah, they don't pay me. They don't like when I made the agreement with them, I told them like, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for anyone. If HQ comes out with a better propeller, I'm going to tell everyone that. And they were like, great, do that, do exactly that. But let us know as well so that we know which props we need to improve. So yeah, I have no reason to lie to you guys about this or anything else. This is one of the reasons that I am crowdfunded by you guys. This way I can do it this way. You guys pay my bills, not GemFan, not, iFlight, not Rotorite, not any of these companies. And so since you're paying the bills, I have to be honest with you. Otherwise you'll leave. Right. And so this is totally, just my personal opinions. We are going to be testing the GemFan 1210 biblades. The old, just like standard, awesome. This was really like the first Tiny Whoop propeller that we ever got that was really extraordinary. And so we're going to test those. We're also going to test the GemFan 1219S's, which are like kind of the powerhouse propeller. We are going to test the new HQ 1.2 by 0.9 by 3 ultralights. The older HQ ultralights. Let me confirm the pitch on these. Okay, it's actually, these are 1.2 by 1.1 by 3. So 0.9 pitch, 1.1 pitch. And then last but not least, the newest propeller. This is the brand new HQ ultralight biblade. I actually don't know what the pitch is on these, but it's an HQ ultralight prop that's a biblade. And it's actually what's on this thing right now. So that's what we're going to start with, is these guys. The way that we're going to test these propellers is by taking a look, hooking them up to the adjustable power supply, which is going to supply a solid 4 volts. I choose 4 volts because realistically, when you plug a freshly charged battery in that's 4.35, the second that you arm it, it sags down to like 4.1, 4.05, and then by the time you touch the throttle, it's going to sag down to like 4 volts or 3.9 volts. And so, yeah, testing at 4.35 doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So 4 volt steady input. I'm going to hook it up to Betaflight. I'm going to hold it and do a loaded thrust test. We're not going to take a look at the thrust that it produces because I don't have a thrust stand. What we are going to take a look at, though, is the RPM that the motor will make in Betaflight from the ESC telemetry. The RPM that it'll turn is the thrust that it's going to make. If this prop turns, when we're comparing 3 blades to 3 blades, yes. When we're comparing biblades to triblades, maybe not. But this is the best that we can do without a thrust stand. So we're going to get the RPM in a loaded environment where we're holding this thing. And then we're going to fly it around, and we're going to take a look at the post-flight statistics, which are going to give us the RPM in flight. And why this is important is that, and actually, when we do the loaded thrust test, we can do it at 100%. Never mind. I was about to say we're going to do it at 50%, but we're not. We're going to do it at 100%. We do the motor testing without the propellers on at 50%. And so we'll have a comparison of a loaded test, and why this is important versus unloaded is that when you're holding this thing, it has an unrealistically hard job to do. Because when you fly a tiny whoop, or any quad for that matter, you don't hold it. You let it go. And when you let it go, it flies through the air. So as soon as you go full throttle, there's like a millisecond that it's going to make, that the situation is going to be like this. But then after that millisecond, it starts moving. And when it starts moving, there's now incoming air. A loaded thrust test or a thrust stand test is not the best analog for when you're actually flying these things, because you're asking a lot more of the motor and propeller combo, right? Because when you're holding this thing, it has to take all of this static air and pull it in and then push it out. Whereas when you're actually flying, the millisecond that you hammer the throttle, it starts creating incoming air. And that incoming air, more and more and more as it accelerates, makes the motor's job easier, right? Because you've got a column of air coming into the motor, and that frees the motor up. So taking a look at the post-flight stats to see what RPM this thing will do in the actual air, that number is going to be much higher. And so when we look at the difference between those two numbers, it tells us a lot, actually. If there's a big gap between those two numbers, loaded versus unloaded, what that means is that the propeller is making the motor work really hard. Because when you're holding it, which is a much more challenging situation, it can only turn this much RPM. But then once it's up in the air, it's going to spin all the way up here. And so that's what we're going to see from the more aggressively pitched propellers. The old school HQ ultralights and the GemFan 1219Ss. We're going to see a bigger gap in the loaded versus unloaded RPMs. And then like on the lower pitch props and on the biblades, you're going to see that gap close up a little bit, because it's in a loaded environment. The prop is less aggressive, so it's going to be able to spin it up higher. Now over here, it's going to be able to spin it up higher, and then in flight, it's going to be able to spin it up to roughly the same amount. So we should kind of see that. And then the real way, unfortunately, the only real way, since most of this does have black box. If I was a black box nerd, we could dive into the black box to look at things like response time. But this is going to give us enough of a feel. The last way that we're going to evaluate these is just going to be flight feel, and that's just going to be me trying to be as sensitive to the way that these fly as I possibly can. Unfortunately, that is the most important, because in the air, the way that they react to prop wash, how quickly they spin up, how much power they make when they're in an unloaded state, right, when it's actually flying, that's what really matters. thrust stand results are great, don't get me wrong, but they do not tell the whole story, especially with these tiny little motors. Chris Rosser just put up his continuation of Tiny Whoop motor testing earlier today, and it's very well done. He finally had all of the motors that we're all actually using in the testing. And one of the big things that just slapped all of us in the face that we've been talking about for a couple of months now is that the KV markings, the KV ratings of these motors are completely worthless. I almost titled this stream KV is worthless. KV ratings are worthless. The amount of variability is absolutely outrageous. For example, the RC & Power 0702 29,000 kV motors made significantly more thrust than the Happy Model 0702 40,000 kV motors. Actual thrust production is not just the kV, though. It's how strong the magnets are. It's how tight the air gap is. It's how thick the magnets are. It's what the magnets are made of. N52 versus N40. I don't remember, it's a 48 or 46 versus N42. There's a bunch of different grades of magnet. The way that how many laminations are in the stator, the thickness of the windings, the density of the copper because of the thickness of the windings in comparison with the number of winds per stator pole. And so it's not totally surprising that a lower kV motor could make more power than a higher kV motor, but it's 29,000 kV versus 40,000 kV. Like, that's ridiculous. And so, yeah, for the record, as we've been saying for a little bit now, the kV ratings of these motors are totally worthless unless you're comparing motors. Unless you're comparing motors within the same brand. But what his testing also showed is that even motors from the same brand, Happy Model, can be all over the place. The Moon Traveler Tiny Whoop 0702 32,000 kV motors made significantly different, had tested significantly differently than the 32,500s from WeBleed. I think that's because the lack of quality control in these motors makes it so that, like, you buy, and I've always seen this, you buy a set of 4 motors and you spin each one of them up in the motors tab to 100% and they're all over the place. I mean, they're not that bad, but they're not consistent. And so I think that, like, the Moon Traveler that Chris happened to grab out of the box was a hot one, and then, you know, the 32,500 that he grabbed was one of the not super great ones. So it's all over the place. But, like, if you decide you want to run a Happy Model motor and you want the most powerful one that there is, it's going to be the highest KV, and so on and so forth. As soon as I got done watching his video, I completed my Race Day Quads shopping cart that had a set of the RC & Power 0702 29,000s on it. So I'm super excited to see that. Those were the motors that made the most thrust. The other thing that was so great in Chris's testing was showing that the 0702 motors can make just as much power as 0802s, in some cases 0803s. And so that was really, really good. Also, like, the top 5 motors that he picked, 4 of the 5 are some of my favorite motors. And so that really validates the fact that you don't have to use black box. You don't have to have a thrust stand. You can just be as analytical as possible and just fly a lot. And you can tell the difference between components. It's difficult. Don't get me wrong. The placebo is super strong. And so you have to fight against that. Like, you have to actively fight against that placebo and check yourself and test stuff a second time and a third time and a fifth time and a sixth time. But you can tell I can tell the difference between this stuff. I am typically not somebody that is the best at being able to tell the difference between things. I have a tendency to just adjust. I think this comes from being in motorsports for so long and like making a change to the car, a change to the dampers, a change to tire pressures, for example, a change to spring rates, a change in ride height, and then in some cases being stuck with that change for an entire event, and having to learn to drive around it. Also, being an instructor and driving a lot of other people's cars, trying to set a fast time for them to chase, having to adjust to a completely different car that I've never driven before, and getting like, a minute or two to make that adjustment. I assume that it comes from that. I don't know what else it would come from, but yeah, I'm not a person that is super sensitive to small changes. I have to work really hard to like think of different ways and different scenarios where I can actually tell the difference between one thing and the other. But on the other side of that, I've been flying for a long time, and I've flown thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of tiny whoop batteries over the years. So I'm lucky in that respect, right? Like, if you fly enough, you just kind of get used to the setup, and a muscle memory builds up. And then if you really try your best to kind of listen to that, you can, when things are different, you can go, okay, my muscle memory is currently like dialed in for this, and this other thing did this a little bit differently. What does that mean? These are and then I go up and shower, and I stand there for a half an hour like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And eventually I figure it out. So yeah, there's that, which is cool. In the chat, if you want to talk directly to me, all I got to do is type So that's the plan for tonight. All I got to do is type CiottiFPV, like some beautiful people are doing already. You can do this with each other. If you want to get Uriel's attention, just in your chat message, type URIEL. And for him, his name will light up in orange. If you want to support me on this wild and woolly adventure that is being a full-time FPV donkey, head on over to CiottiFPV.com and just start clicking shit, man. Patreon helps me the most, and it's only $3 a month. That's 10 cents a day. You can't tell me that this content is not worth 10 cents a day. If I tell you which of these propellers is best and you go out and buy them, but then you don't buy the ones that suck, I just saved you probably more than $3. So hook a brother up. Join my Patreon, yo. There's also a ton of benefits. The Patreon page itself has a ton of like technical articles that I've written. You're just going to want to look for Tech Talk in the tags up on the top. There's a YouTube playlist you're going to get with a like 90 some odd unreleased edits, half done edits, sketchy flying, I don't want to be public, Patreon only live streams, all kinds of good stuff. 2 different Facebook groups. And I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of other stuff. So yeah. Oh yeah. Full access to the Discord by joining the Patreon for $3 a month, yo. If you want to get in on some giveaways, it's only $2 more. For $5 a month, you're going to get entered in to win Tiny Whoop and Toothpick stuff every single month. You don't have to come to the live stream. I have your address in there. You'll just win, and then you'll get a package of stuff that's worth like $50, $60, $70. So do it, my friends. Etsy has some really fun stuff, some full builds, some custom builds, some hardware. Etsy is about to have M1.4x4 screws that you need for these 2S builds. And in this package here, we're going to do mailbag. This is from Timmons. There are some spacers in here. So very soon you will be able to buy the spacers and screws that you need for these amazing 2S analog builds, where you're going to run a Mobula 7 V3 frame with the really deep ducts. And then if you run a 2mm tall motor like an 802 or a 1002 or an 1102, you're going to use these little spacers and the longer screws, and then your propellers won't hit the deep ducts. And you can have God's gift to 75mm tiny whoops, which are these 2S builds that I've been screwing around with lately. So, yeah, do it! What else? Fiverr if you want to work one-on-one with me and take advantage of over 8 years of FPV knowledge. Teespring for some really fun shirts and other apparel like this one. We used to we didn't always call ourselves the Gangely Gang. We used to call ourselves the Collective. So this shirt and many more are over there on the Teespring. PayPal if you want to support me directly, but you don't want YouTube to take 30% of your money, like they'll do with you can do a super chat. If you do a PayPal, though, do me a favor, tag me in the chat, type CiottiFPV, check your email, and I'll go check your email, and I'll read your nice little note, and you'll get a well-deserved shout-out for supporting me. And then all these affiliate links, yo. There's no reason to not use an affiliate link at this point when you're buying stuff on the internet. Pretty much every single website has an affiliate program. Somebody that you watch on YouTube is set up on that website. Change your bookmarks to someone's affiliate links. If you don't use bookmarks like me and you just type AMA for Amazon, remove your current suggestions that your browser is making when you type the beginning of these different websites, and then just click these affiliate links a couple times, and then your browser will think that when you type FPV for FPV cycle, you actually want to go to CiottiFPV's affiliate link, and you don't even have to think about it. Otherwise, you got to come to my website. You got to remember to come to my little website here every single time you're doing an order and hit the affiliate link before you check out. You have to hit an affiliate link every single time. When you check out, it deletes the affiliate person stuff. So every time you check out, you have to have hit the affiliate link before you check out. Otherwise, your favorite content creator on YouTube won't get 1 to 6% of your order of your total shopping cart. I have affiliate links for Amazon, Get FPV, Pyro Drone, Race Day Quads, Newbie Drone, WeBleed, Betaflight, FPV Cycle, Hisingi, oh my god, Brain 3D, HD0, Fly, Wooey, Max, Banggood, Camera Butter, and AliExpress. That's how you support me, my friends. It means an awful lot, and you guys do a great job of it because I'm still here, man. I show up for you guys 10 hours a week. You guys show up for me by doing all these things that I just asked you to do. And we hang out together forever. I'll do this forever. I don't care, man. I love this. The one and only Timmons, the creator of the Batwing camera mount that makes chasing RC drift cars or just flying 65mm tiny whoops with no ducts in view the most amazing experience ever, made us some spacers and threw some extra stuff in. And he said, yo, open it on stream. I want to get your reaction. So that's what I'm doing. Oh, shit. Oh, nice. So, Jesse from Tiny Whoop has had these stickers with Da Vinci's quote about, well, here's the quote. It's one of my favorite quotes of all time. It's my favorite FPV quote, hands down. For once you have tasted flight, you will walk the earth with your eyes turned skyward, for there you have been, and there you will long to return. Beautiful quote. And you can't fucking tell me that you don't walk around after you ever since you started flying FPV looking up like this, being like, ooh, that's a cool gap in the trees. Jesse has always had these stickers, which is super cool. I'm assuming it's one of Jesse's favorite quotes as well. He's just that kind of guy. You can just tell that he genuinely loves, like, flying. Timmons put them on a bunch of, I think these are stickers, although these almost feel like magnets. They're textured. These are laser engraved, aren't they? These are laser engraved, yo. These are, and then they've got a 3M back, so I think it is a sticker. This is awesome. Very cool, dude. A couple of small ones, a big one. I will find spots for these. They're thick. They've got like a thickness to them. That's what she said. These are ultra thick. Hold on. Well, wait, no, you can see it from there. You can see it from there. Hold on. It'll probably look great from there. Awesome. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with these, but I'll find something to do with these. That's rad. Perfect. Perfect. What else we got? All right, so here are some spacers. These guys are 0.8 millimeters. These are probably just enough. Laser cut. Look at that, man. And then we've got these are the real ones though. 1.27 millimeter. These are the same thickness as the Betaflight spacers that I've been using on these builds, which are just perfect. So these are the real ones. If you want to be a little bit more low profile, I do have these 0.8s. But yeah, the 1.27s, those are the ones. And it looks like there's a ton in here. So that is awesome, dude. Thank you so much. But there's a bunch, but wait, there's more. Make sure I get it all out of there before I throw this away. All right, we're good. This package smells like this tape with the striations in it. The like, I don't know what that tape is called, but it's really hard to rip. It has a very specific smell to it. Little tiny 3D printed snowmen. That is super cool. The kids and Maggie are going to get an absolute kick out of them. Oh, a little alien. Oh my god, look at this. Jesus, look at this 3D print material. Oh, it's not colored. Okay, it changed color. Wow, that's wild. This is some crazy filament. That's not the right button. That's the right button. Look at this. I can't see it there. Look at this filament. Look at that green to purple transition. It's not color changing filament. It's just purple in the back and green in the front. So when it was swirling around, the filament changed color. That is wild. Maybe the filament is one color on one side, one color on the other side. That is crazy. That with such a small little thing, it goes green on one side and purple on the other. That's insane. Very cool little alien there. What else we got here? Oh, that's a cool design. So these are like reusable zip ties, basically. You can buy Dorman ones from Amazon, which are like a rubber material. These are great. And you run it through itself, and then, yeah, these are super awesome. But there's a whole bunch of them that you can print on Thingiverse. I've never seen this version before. This is really cool. It's reusable. This little knobbly bastard is going to go through, and then you can, right, you can then remove it. Usually with those, like once they latch in, they're a little bit harder to reuse. This is specifically made to be reusable. That's very, very cool. And then you just cut it down. You don't have to have it the same length. You cut it down to here, and then you wrap it around. This is rad. Very, very cool. I've never seen that before. What is this little guy? I genuinely do not know what this is. It's a cradle for a camera. Oh, I know what this is. I know what this is. This allows us to run. So Timmons made this. Angry Don has one of these on Thingiverse. But I wouldn't be surprised if this one fixes some of a problem or two that maybe that one has. This is so that we can run a camera that doesn't have holes in the top right and bottom left corners in a Mobula 6 frame. This is super cool. Is Timmons in the chat? I didn't see him earlier. Timmons at some point will tell us what camera this is for. I think he might have told me that this is for the CO3 camera. This is super cool, though. With how good the Mobula 6 canopy is, this is super awesome. And then last but not least, that is rad. Oh my god. So that says Micro King on it. And this is a little protector that you can put on top of your Tiny Whoop stack. For example, if you've built one of they're all put away. One of the little RC drift car chasing rigs, with the camera up front, you've just got the naked AIO just hanging out in the middle of nowhere. And you can put this on top of there to kind of protect it a little bit. That is awesome. Oh my god, that is like really detailed. Damn, dude, that is. I can't wait to put that on one of the little RC drift car chasing rigs. What a package full of awesome stuff. The highlights, of course, are the risers, and then I've got the M1.4x4 screws. So those of you that want to go down the 2S 75mm rabbit hole in the Mobula 7 V3 frame, I got you. I'll get these up on Etsy as soon as I can. It won't be tonight. It won't be tomorrow. It might be like Sunday or Monday. But yeah, I will get these up there. If you're desperate for them, just message me somewhere. CiottiFPV.com at the very top has a link to my Instagram, my Facebook, the Discord channel, and my email address. Message me somewhere. I won't get back to you right away, but I will get back to you, and I will hook you up. Sound good? Timmons, thank you, dude. This is super generous. And there's some very cool little treats in here that the family and I will enjoy. Thank you, dude. What a nice guy, that Timmons. All right, so these I'm going to put right here because I need to get those up on Etsy first. These 0.8 millimeter ones I'm going to experiment with first. If you're desperate to try them, I'll because there are a bunch. I'll hook you up. But yeah, I'm going to experiment with them first to make sure that they're tall enough. This is a really cool design. That's very cool. Let me put these little snowmen over here. So I don't forget to bring them upstairs. Little snowmen. All right, so and so by the way, I'm breaking out the good batteries for the testing tonight. These Betaflight Lava 300s I have not abused. I have a whole bunch of these. I have like 20 some of these, and I keep them in a separate little spot in the WeBleed tin. And I really only use these with the RC drift cars. I wanted to have like a specific battery that I use for that I don't hammer on freestyle. I don't get them all dented up. And so when I'm doing like a test where I want all the batteries to be as even as possible, these are what I run. Because with the little RC drift car chase rigs, I run it down to the exact... Basically, once it starts flashing low battery warning, I come home because that ruins the footage. I run my clean OSD that has the warnings, so as soon as the low battery warning pops up, I'm not going to use that footage anymore, so I might as well just get the hell home because I don't have a way of completely wiping out the OSD on there. So these batteries never get super discharged where I'm damaging them, and so they're very evenly matched. And so I busted out the good batteries for tonight because we want that good testing. We want as accurate of a test as we possibly can is what I meant to say there. Let me get caught up on chat, and then we're going to start flying and testing and all the good stuff. Cool? Metal Dirtskin tagged me and said, "How do you do, CiottiFPV and fellow kids? I'm sick as hell, but will hang in as long as I can. I hope you get better soon, brother." Espander says, "Hey, Gangly Gang. Hi, CiottiFPV." YouTube just immediately did the thing and scrolled me to the bottom. Metal Dirtskin also says, "For those too lazy to check, did he test any 0603s? I'm pretty sure he did not because there's only one 0603 that's like commercially available, and it's a lower KV. The 30,000 kV 603s that I've got are a prototype, so he would not have gotten a hold of them. Do you think there's any place for those still? I do not. That motor is too narrow and too tall. It is heavier than an 0702. You don't get as good runtime, and the power. I mean, maybe if we got like a really high kV version of one, we would get the power out of them. But they're still going to be too tall and not wide enough, and they're going to get too hot, and they're going to be less efficient. The big thing, though, to be honest, is they're heavier. The 0702 motors on a 65 millimeter tiny whoop are hands down like just better. They are exactly small enough, but also exactly big enough. So you've got the lightest weight motor, and they're the right ratio. 0702, right? 2, 4, 6, 7, 3.5 to 1 width to height. That is the correct ratio. That's the ratio that we want. And so, yeah, the 702 size is where it's at. I don't think we're ever going to see another motor size that can compete with that on a 65 mil whoop where you want some good power. So, Uriel says, LOL. WeBleed is in the house. What's up, Zotek? He says, good evening, gang. What's up, CiottiFPV? Uriel says, I'm wrestling with my credit card. Oh, aren't we all? Lewis says, would motor limiting some hype train 1002 24,000s to 67%, which is the equivalent of 16,000 kV, work for 2S? Yes. In other words, where does motor limiting become not worth the downsides? You'd be knocking on the door. Yes, that will work, but you are going to start to sacrifice some efficiency and some throttle resolution. My usual recommendation is to not motor limit down below 70%. The internet geniuses on Facebook say that below 70% motor limiting is just, yeah, you actually start to lose a significant amount of efficiency and throttle resolution. You probably won't notice it if you motor limited down to 60%, 55%, but you might. It's going to be there, and so it's not going to make you fly better. If you have the motors and you're looking to save 40, 50 bucks from buying a new set of motors that's lower kV, just do it. Because again, you probably won't notice. If you're a good enough pilot, you might notice, but like, it's just a tiny whoop. Who cares, right? Like, you're not on set with it flying for, like a professional artist. You're just screwing around at home. So it's like, it's gonna fly. It's just gonna be ever so slightly worse. But yeah, it'll absolutely work. If nothing else, what it'll allow you to do is dial in on the exact kV that you want, because you motor limit them down to 60%, you do the math, you fly it around. All right, that's not enough power. You go 70%, you fly it around, you do the math. All right, that's almost enough power. You go 75%. Ooh, this feels perfect. You go 80%. Ooh, this is too much. You go back down to 70%, you do the math. Now you know the exact kV motor that you need. Next time you're doing an order, or when you wreck one of those motors, you get a set that's 17,000 kV or 18,000 kV, and you run them at 100% or 90% or something like that, right? So yeah, if you've got those motors now, just do it. Dive in, move the motor limiting up and down, and figure out your perfect kV, and then just keep running them. Keep running them until you either break down and say, like, I want this thing to fly microscopically better, and then you'll spend the money and you'll put the new motors on. You'll be like, wow, he was right. I can't tell a difference at all. Or you blow one of those motors up and you're like, all right, instead of replacing one of these, I'm just going to bite the bullet, buy a whole new set. And then you can sell the 3 good 1002 24,000s to somebody on our Discord or on the Facebook group for buying and selling. Leonard Erickson says, it is a delightful quote despite the fact that Da Vinci never said it. Really? Whose quote is it? Let's see. Who actually said... Well, this will probably work. Oh shit, look at that. Look, I usually don't trust the AI nonsense on here, but we're just going to go with this. John H. Secondary. Interesting. Well, there's no proof that Da Vinci said the quote. He was fascinated by flight. Spent a lot of time thinking about it. I'll be damned. Look at Google AI possibly giving us good info. I'm going with Da Vinci having said it because it's better. If everybody else in this country is going to ignore facts, you know. Freelojo says it's two-tone filament. I have some. Interesting. So the strand of filament is one color on one side, one color on the other side. Is that what two-tone filament means? Because there's no way in hell that filament is purple, green, purple, like down the length of it, purple, green, purple, green, purple, green, so that when the head of the little thingy is spinning around, it goes to the purple and then to the green to the purple. It must be on one side or the other, right? Right? Disabled Combat Android says the mob camera adapter, though. That Mobula camera adapter, though. Yeah, yeah. If Timmons jumps into the chat, we'll ask him if he's going to put that up on Thingiverse somewhere. I'm sure he will. Striker's in the house. He says, any suggestions for a versatile build for indoor-outdoor? Nope. It's either or. I have a Cross AIO and Mo 3? What's a Mo 3? Everything else is still up for consideration. Yeah, no. 65mm rigs inside are way better than anything heavy enough to really rail outside. You would be better off building a 65mm rig with a whole bunch of power, and then you've got the perfect rig for inside the house, and it's still damn good outside, than trying to do like a 75mm rig and make it work inside. It's just not gonna. So yeah, do a 65mm high power rig, and then down the road do a 2S 75mm rig, and then you'll have the best indoor setup and the best outdoor setup. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Monkey D. Cluffy is in the house as well. What's up, brother? He says, hey, dude, I have an X12 with 802 20,000 kV tiny whoop motors. Is 80% motor limit safe? Totally. 70% seems to be fine right now. Yeah, man. Just creep it up little by little until you've got the right amount or slightly too much power, and then back it off. I will always challenge you guys, like I challenge myself, to fly setups that are a little bit underpowered. You always want to be a little bit underpowered, because the less power, the better the throttle resolution. And the better the throttle resolution, the easier it's going to be for you to stay in proximity to things. And when you stay in proximity to things, that's when you're like, and that's when the footage looks the best, and that's when you learn the most and you get better as a pilot. So yeah, creep it up to like 75%, fly it, creep it up to 80%. At some point, you're going to be like, yeah, this is too much, and then back it off. You might end up back down at 70. But yeah, the X12 is 12 amp. It has 12 amp fets, which is 48 amps total. So put the current meter in your OSD, and you will see that you come nowhere near 48 amps, even at 80% throttle, 80% motor limiting rather. And so yeah, we are with these 2S builds, we are like super safe. It's yeah, an X12, even like the HGLRC Spectre, which is only 10 amps, that's 40 amps total. Like, you're never gonna get near that high of an amp. And also, even if you did get near those numbers, ESCs and AIOs, they are the amp designation is an RMS. It's a constant number. There is another spec for burst, and the burst rating is always a few amps higher. So like a 12 amp FET will have a burst rating of like 15 amps usually, and that burst rating, there's an amount of time associated with it. Usually it's like between 2 and 6 seconds. And so the X12, the burst rating is at least 14 amps. It's probably 15 amps. So now we're talking about 60 amps. Again, there's no powertrain that's going to pull 60 amps for 2 full seconds. There are also no batteries. There are no little 2S batteries that are going to output 60 amps for 2 full seconds. So yeah, you're super safe there. The amp ratings, the FETs being used for a lot of these AIOs and ESCs nowadays are just ridiculous. The manufacturers have really fallen down the hole of numbers sell. And yeah, like every single ESC nowadays is way, way, way too high of an amp rating for the actual powertrains that we have on any of these rigs. Tiny whoops all the way up to 5 and 6 and 7 inch. YouTube did the thing again, trying to find my place. Uriel says, people should give each other room to make faults, mistakes in all ways. We are one. Be merciful first to yourself. Dead on. Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself. and you should be the nicest to yourself, which is the hardest. Shame is arguably the most powerful motivator that there is. And so when you get something wrong and you're like, God, I'm such a fucking idiot. God, I gotta be better, you dick. Careful with that, man. Careful with that. I know that you're saying it like as a joke and like you can laugh at it, but like the way that you talk to yourself is the way that you feel about yourself. Like you do that enough times and you will start to believe that. I promise you. I'm a poster child for that. One of the things I've worked the hardest on in talk therapy over the last couple of years is getting a handle on that. And I have a ways to go. But I've done really, really well. See that? I have a ways to go. There's that shame. But I've done really, really well. That's the growth right there. That's what she said. Crom says your two-tone filament is called co-extruded filament. They do 2 and 3 colors. They basically merge 3 different filaments in a way that they stay in the same orientation. Okay, so they take like 2 strands and then they combine them into one. So yeah, that makes sense. Very cool. Someday I'll hook up my 3D printer and learn this stuff. Cold Power says, it's possible to use a 3D printer to print filament for a 3D printer. Nice. The reason for doing is pre-computed color changes on printers that do not support, wow, auto color changing filament. That's wild. That is wild. Great Scott says, Tiny Whoop Red Rocket 0603 26,000 kV was tested. No shit. And did good in efficiency and responsiveness. I thank you for that. I just totally assumed that the 0603s were not tested. I watched Rosser's video on my phone, so I could only barely make out some of the motors. I've been meaning to rewatch it, but Maggie and I were out all day getting stuff for our Christmas party tomorrow. Damn, I can't wait to look at that. I can't wait to see how the 603s stack up. YouTube did the thing again. Finding my place. Greenhorde says, what did you think of Chris Rosser's video on Motor KV? Rewind like 10 minutes. We just talked about it. It was great. I'm so glad that he finally tested motors that people are actually using. His previous Tiny Whoop motor testing only had like maybe one motor that anybody is actually using in 2024. So this new one is really it. You don't really need to go back and watch those other ones. Just this video that he put out today. This has all the actual good motors. Uriel says, you give me the most compliment in my life. You deserve it for what you just said, my friend. Disabled Combat Android says, words are magic. Saying shit out loud gives them power. Do not manifest negativity. Boy, is that hard to do in the culture that we live in nowadays. But it's true. Limit says, hey, what do you think of the new WeBleed XL90 lipo? Do you know when you will try it? Zotek asked me about that battery a while back. And I was like, that I love that you're making it, but basically I have no interest in it. It's not for me at all. I love that it exists. If he sends it to me, I will absolutely try it outside. But yeah, it's not an indoor motor. My main concern with it is that it's going to hang way out the front. I already have a hard time with these batteries shifting forward and then hitting the front of the battery and bending them all up. Like either what usually happens is I smush them and then the front of the battery like balloons out and then it becomes really hard to put it back into the battery bay. So on my batteries that I've run a lot and I've crashed a lot, I end up, this is actually a perfect example of it. See that the battery is starting to, you got to see it there. The battery is starting to flatten out like this. So I end up having to take these old batteries and it's like sketchy as hell, but I end up having to go like this with them. That higher MAH battery is really long. So it's going to really hang out the front and you're going to beat the hell out of it. So it's not a battery for like indoor hard crashing. And that's kind of what I do. But yeah, if they show up, I will absolutely try them. But it's just yeah, it's slightly heavier. It's got more MAH. So if you want more runtime, it's your bet. If you want more runtime and you're not going to crash a lot, there you go. That's the battery for you. It's folded cell. It's BT 2.0. It's going to perform just like these 300s, but with more runtime. It'll also sag a little bit less too, so you will get a little bit more power out of it. But it's heavy enough that you might not tell a difference. It might be so heavy that the extra thrust that gets produced from it is a wash. Probably not. It'll probably give you ever so slightly better power to weight ratio, but the whole thing is going to be heavier, and so the indoor flight performance is going to suffer a little bit from that extra weight. But again, if you want more runtime, that's the reason to buy that battery. I'm sure it's awesome. It's folded cell with BT 2.0. Get it if you want more flight time. Schreger says, have you checked out the PP seat belt Tiny Whoop pinch mount? I have not even heard of that. Have I? Is that the mount that a bunch of people are putting on the AIO 5 builds to try to get it as light as possible? If so, I've seen it, but I haven't tried it. I will try it at some point. Himox01 says, Beta FPV customer service is so funny. Why do they ask how long I've been flying FPV, and what does this help them with? My guess is going to be that helps them know whether or not you're a friggin' monkey with a that's holding your soldering iron like this, or if you're holding your soldering iron like this, right? They're trying to figure out what the chances are that you fucked it up versus it fucked up. Know what I'm saying? Feel free to lie to them, I guess. Don't lie to them. Be honest. Beta FPV is a good company. They have people working there that are awesome. Yeah. Uriel says, be the nicest to yourself. Do it. Agreed. All right, yo, let's start flying. The first test, first propeller that we're going to test is I got to figure out what pitch this propeller is. Hold on. Who sent me these? Zotek sent me these, but I don't think that they're up on his website yet. Let's see. WeBleed shop. Last time I checked, these were not up on his website quite yet. Maybe they are now, though, because that was a week or two ago. Let's see. While I'm waiting, let's fire up Tiny Whoop, and we'll see if they're on there. By the way, WeBleed has the Micro Vs. These are the regular Micro Vs in 50 millimeters. I have twice as many of the custom short Micro Vs on their way. So I will have those back in stock on my Etsy store sooner than later. All right, so I don't think they're up here yet. Yeah, no, they're not up here yet. Let's see if anybody has them. There they are. Very cool. Well, nope. These are the 1.6s. Yeah, nobody has them. Nobody has them up yet. So I don't know what pitch they are because I don't think it says on the blade. I lied. It says on the blade, dummy. See, there's the shame again. 1.2 by 1.2. Really? These are more pitchy than the old school triblades. I'll be damned. We'll be the judge of that. All right. Let's get this figured out. I forgot to close this window down. Cool. HQ, ultralight, 1.2 inch, 1.2 pitch, 2-blade propellers. Let's start a spreadsheet. Let us do this the right way. What is this spreadsheet here? Okay, look at me. Look at me spreadsheeting. All right, hold up. Google Sheets. Okay. And there. And blank spreadsheet. And pull this over onto this screen. Okay, so Tiny Whoop prop testing. Tiny wop. Whoop. 12 6 2024. Look at me. Okay. Prop. Wait. No, the pitch will be in there. RPM loaded. RPM unloaded. Flight power in flight. Response time. These are going to be tough. These are going to be me just freeballing it. So HQ 1.2 by 1.2 by 2 is the first propeller that we're testing. Just in case you didn't know, when you see this designation on props, the first number is the diameter, the middle number is the pitch, the last number is how many blades it has. Cool? Cheetonian says, what is that AIO? TBS Lucid AIO. Yeah, it's a TBS AIO. I don't have any interest in it. Striker says, if I get a frame, motors, camera, basically everything but the AIO, because I have AIO, it comes out to $85, which is the price of bind and flies, basically. Which of the 65mm bind and flies do you prefer? There's not one that I prefer. They're all just different. The Air 65 is the best if you don't want to do any upgrades. The Mobula 6 2024 is arguably the best if you want to do upgrades. The Newbie Drone Hummingbird version 3.1 race spec is the best if you want no compromises, absolute lightest weight, hardest core tiny whoop there is, but you're not going to upgrade it, and it might not work with your current ELRS radio or module. So that's a tough one to really recommend. It's a shame that they don't make the Air 65 Champion anymore. They just made those 1000 because this thing absolutely rails. So there you go. There's what I think about the ones that are currently available. I'm still sort of on the 2G4 train, though. I still think the 2G4 is the best AIO that there is. Yeah. Himok says, are HQ2 blade 45mm better for flight time? Better than what? Meteor 75 Pro 2024 version running with the 550 Lava. Yeah, better than what? Two blades will always be better for flight time than tri-blades, though. I can tell you that. And maybe that answers the question. Okay. Flight. No, we'll do the boring stuff first. We'll put it into Betaflight and see what kind of RPM that we get. In order to do that, I've got to get the little power supply set up, pulled forward a little bit here. This is the little janky-ish setup. I have to do this because for whatever reason the power supply doesn't boot these AIOs consistently. So I have a spike absorber and a capacitor jankily alligator clipped in here, but boy does it work well. And then this is just a BT 2.0. Okay. Get this over here and there, and push the button to turn on the 4-volt. There we go. Okay. I need the little dongle for this guy because Betafpv. All right. Oh, God. Dropped it. My God, it is cold down here. I've been wearing long sleeve stuff. Striker says, wait, what's wrong with the ELRS and the race spec? They used a different crystal oscillator that is tuned slightly differently. That's the deal. That's super annoying. All right. And here we go. Cool. That is the sound of a rig being powered by a power supply. I should have opened up Betaflight earlier. It takes forever to launch for some reason lately. Louis says, CiottiFPV or anyone, when I fly, I feel like I have to have my head and hand/radio in the exact same place to fly normally. Is this a bad habit? Not at all. You do want to be able to move a little bit. You do want to push yourself a little bit. But no, that is very normal. It is because we are trying to move the sticks fractions of a millimeter. And so if your hands are in a different position or if the radio is tilted differently, it's gonna affect that. That is totally normal. You want to push yourself as much as you can to be able to be a little bit more adaptable, right? What if you have to sit down? What if you have to sit on the ground? What if you have to stand like in a weird position or lean or something like that? But that's totally normal, and it's pretty hard to get out of that, if I'm honest. I'm the same way. All right, here we go. I'm going to zoom in for you guys a little bit. And so we're looking at this R, at these R's. This is the RPM that's going to be coming back. All right? 64, 65,000. 64,000. 64, 65. See how high that one ramped? And you could hear it. It ramped all the way up to 66,000. That's what I'm telling you. There's always one motor that's hot. Wow, I saw 69,000. But it came down a little bit after that. And so 64 to 65,000 was what we pretty much saw on all of these, right? So we're going to go with 64,500, right? Right in between. Put the comma in there. And there we go. We'll get the weight when we pull these off, and we'll get the unloaded from the post-flight stats when I inevitably crash. But that is a good starting point. The batteries that we're going to be running are these 300 mAh Betaflight lavas. These have all been charged and discharged roughly the same number of times to try to eliminate any battery variance. We can also take a look at runtime. That is tough, but we'll throw it in here. Boy, am I doing this in a stupid manner. Oh, you guys didn't see it. Good, because I did that like a complete caveman. I'm not a spreadsheet person. Leave me alone. Hold on, let me make this look a little bit better. There we go. Okay. All right, so your guys' job, because when I crash, I have a tendency to arm and disarm like really quickly and forget to look at the RPM in the post-flight stats. Your job is the first time I disarm this, or what I'm going to try to do is each battery, I'm going to put it up in the air and just hammer it across the room and then hammer it back across the room so that when the battery is fully charged, we get the highest possible unloaded RPM, right? But your guys' job is to type into the chat the, yes, the race spec has 12 amp fets, is to type that maximum RPM, in case I forget, into the chat. So the first time I disarm this thing after a full throttle run like that, please just type the RPM that you see into the chat. It'll just make my life way easier. Okay, so we've got a transmitter, and I'm going to use the trusty old HD2s. Those 12 amp fets are completely worthless, though. You'll never have a powertrain that needs more than 5 amp fets on a 65 millimeter whoop. So the 12 amp fets on the race spec are completely worthless. The other thing you want to keep in mind is that the newbie drone AIOs use a different OSD setup that makes the video quality significantly worse. So yeah, that is just an unfortunate thing. That is why they can put higher amp fets in. Is that they don't use the normal OSD chip that is gigantic. But yeah, there's it's a much better setup to have the giant OSD chip and 5 amp fets. All right. Away we go. HQ ultralight biblades. Let's see how they are. You gonna connect ELRS? Or are you just gonna... No? Okay. Well. What's happening? Okay. That's weird. Let's try it again. Did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in? Did you try turning it off and on? What's up, Brandon? All right, here we go. Woo! All right, there's one. There's another. All right, so that's going to be the full throttle hit. Let me just disarm it so that we can look. 60,150. Why is that lower? 60,150. Why is that lower than when I was holding the damn thing? This room just might not be big enough. At the beginning of the next battery, I'll go upstairs. Woo! Shit. All right, so now is when I need to start talking about these props. Obviously, they're very lightweight. The HQ ultralight props are significantly lighter than the GemFans. And those are the triblades. Whoa! Now, this is a biblade version. We're going to weigh these at some point here, but... Oh, boy. Ooh! Ah! These feel great. The motors on here are the new Betaflight in air quotes 30,000 kV. These motors did great in Chris Roster's motor testing, and I've been flying these motors quite a bit on this rig, and I'm really impressed by them. New gate location here I'm trying out tonight. These feel awesome. The response time is ridiculous because they're so lightweight. The power is fine. They're 1.2 pitch, which is pretty pitchy. I'm going to try to stop flying these when at a dead hover like this, I'm at 3.5 volts. So I've still got a little bit more to go. Oh! I love that move so much! But I know. Dead hover. Perfect. 3.5, 3.49. Beautiful. Dead hover, 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Runtime 2:16. We're just going to do that for now, and then we're going to average it out later. We're going to average it out on the second battery, I should say. Post-flight stats on the RPM are showing 57,083. I'm super confused as to why the unloaded RPM is so much lower than the loaded RPM, but we're just going to keep going. I'm going to put this back on the charger. Oh, good call, Decabacow. It's lower because you were spinning up just one motor. The battery sags a lot more when it has to spin all four. Good fucking call, my friend. Good call. Good call. Yeah, I guess I can't really... Well, let's get it upstairs. Let's back that up. We'll do a little bit of myth busting real early. I'm going to take this thing straight upstairs and wail it across the room, and we'll see if we can get more than 60,150. Fresh battery. Yeah, the power supply is also a power supply. It's not a little tiny battery. Although lipos output some serious amperage. All right, so we're going to rush upstairs. Battery number 2. So this is the run. Oh my god. I don't want to hit Maggie in the head. All right, let's see what that was. If that's not higher, then we can do the testing downstairs. I would love... Ah, great. It's not higher. 60,325. I mean, it's a little bit higher, but... 60... man, it is a little bit higher, though. Oh, God, almost went between them. Well, I mean, I did go between them, but not cleanly. These props feel awesome. I have not spent a lot of time on these props. Oh, God. These might be better suited for these, like, really high KV motors, but I don't know. I mean, they are 1.2 pitch. That is a good amount of pitch. I'll see how these compare to some of the other propellers in terms of power. But this feels great. I don't know what the deal was there. I just didn't not run into that. I looked right at it, and I was like, maybe the gate will move, I guess. I don't know. Oh, God. Don't die. Oh, God. Don't die again. Oh, hey. That. Ah, the octagon got me. For anybody that hasn't been here lately, I took the newbie drone gates, and I made an octagon with them. Oh, wait, no, it's not an octagon, it's a pentagon. I made a pentagon out of them. I like it. I like the pentagon. Woo! Doing like a simple roll through a hanging gate is really cool. Especially if you do it early. Like, throw it up here. I tried to do it a little bit slower there, and I just totally shit the bed. Let's try that again. Look at that, man. How cool is that? It's like such a simple... That's actually not that simple, but... Oh, God. So we're probably going to get a little bit more runtime on this battery. 3.53. We still got a little bit more to go. I didn't fly it quite as hard on this one, but that's okay. The runtime comparison between these props is going to be really difficult. Alright, so it was dead hovering at like 3.49, close enough. 2 minutes and 34. So 2 minutes and 16 versus 2 minutes and 34. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 16 to 20. The 4 and 4 to 25. 2 minutes and 25 is the average runtime. Where's the colon? That's what she said. Did she? She did. Okay. Power and flight. So I'm gonna do out of 5, and it's hard right now, but let's just say 4 out of 5, and then I'm gonna have to dial that in once I try some of the other ones. Response time, it's gonna be 5 out of 5. The response time is outrageous. Oh, also balance. It's gonna be hard to compare that between these as well. Balance. Let's do good, better, best, and we're gonna say best. All right, so let's test. Let's stay on the. Lewis says you're hitting 58,000 pretty regularly. Does that extra couple thousand matter that much? It does. It does. I lied. It's not hitting 58,000. It's okay. What do we test next? Hold on. Let me just think about this. Let's stay with the biblades. We're gonna test the GemFan 1210 biblades next. Yeah. GF 1210. Okay, so now we're also going to get some weight measurements. So yeah, there's going to be, unfortunately, there are going to be bigger gaps than I want between this testing, but it's kind of the only way. And yeah, it's the only way. Otherwise, I would have to build 5 identical rigs, and in the process of doing that, there are going to be variances between those rigs, and so like, yeah, it's super hard. It's super hard to test these things back to back to back like this. I think testing them on the same rig like this, to avoid the variances between AIOs, between motors, between frames, between how many batteries have been flown through the rig. Yeah, I think this is the way to do it. I could totally be wrong, but and like a lot of times I'll build 2 rigs and just test 2 things, but like testing 5 things like this, it kind of goes out the window. Whenever I build 2 rigs to test 2 things, I always make sure to switch them on those rigs so that any variance from one AIO, one build versus the other build, go out the window as soon as you swap that part from one to the other. All right, so let's get a weight on these. For the record, these propellers, the inner diameter of the hole to mount these on a propeller, it's way small. You have to drill these props out. Do not put these propellers onto your motors without drilling them out. You will wreck your motor bell. 0.51. Let's divide that by 4. Clear that out. Well, hold on. Let me let the scale settle. 0. It settled down to 50. Divided by 4 is 0.125. 0.125. All right, cool. Let's weigh these GemFan 1210s while we're staring at them. Wait, I should have a set on the desk here, shouldn't I? No, I guess I put them away. Yeah, I put them away at the end of the stream on Wednesday. We've got clockwise. We've got, nope, that one's a little bit banged up. Counterclockwise, counterclockwise, and nope. Nope. Come on, give me a high left. Nope. Why are they all the one direction? There we go. I gotta make sure I'm picking brand new ones though. That's brand new. That's brand new. That has a little chunk taken out. Let's put that one aside. This one's brand new. This one has a little chunk taken out. This one's brand new. All right, 4 brand new GemFan 1210s. Oh my God, they're so much heavier. 0.71. 0.71 divided by 4 equals 0.1775. 0.177. Let's just say 1.178. All right. Let me retest the HQ props just to be sure. Awesome. 0.49. That's close enough. All right. Got some weights. Now, let's put these on, fly them around. And the first thing we're probably going to notice is going to be the balance, if the previous live stream was anything to go off of. I don't know what to really do about that, if I'm completely honest. I think we're just going to fly through it, because I don't want to go changing the PID tune, because that's going to screw with the run times. They don't perform that bad, being slightly out of balance. But it's a thing. It is a thing to think about. I don't know. I'm going to run GemFan 1210s on the builds that are using the 1.5 millimeter motor shaft WeBleed motor bells, 0702 motor bells, but that's it. I will not use these anywhere else, I don't think, because of the balance problems. Because they're not quite as well balanced as the, especially now that we've got HQ ultralight biblades. These are now going to be my go-to for when I want a biblade, because of what you're about to see. No, let's do the Betaflight testing first. I'll give these motors a chance to warm back up. All right, plugging in USB, and then plugging in power supply. This will be super interesting. I can't wait to see how the loaded RPMs differ with all of these. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they don't differ. Nope, not receiver. Motors. And, nope, let me zoom in. All right, here we go. 64,000. 64. See, it's not jumping up to 65, though. 64. 64, just barely jumping up to 65, but we're going to say 64 for this propeller. Interesting. There was a definite difference there, right? Like the HQ props were absolutely bouncing back and forth between 64 and 65. Only this one motor hit 65. So these GemFan propellers, even though, okay, so 1210. So there's two ways that propellers are designated. A digit by an X, another digit, an X, another digit. Or HQ does that. GemFan calls these propellers 1210. 12 as in 1.2, 10 as in 1.0. The HQ props we just tested in GemFan's designation would be called 1212s, not 1210s. This is technically a lower pitch propeller, right? 1.0 pitch versus 1.2 pitch. But these propellers didn't turn the RPM that those HQ props did. That's weird. But it's really not weird, because just like with KV, when you go from GemFan to HQ, you've got two different companies calculating the pitch differently. And so what that loaded test tells us is that these GemFan propellers have the potential to make more thrust. Because they're not turning as high of an RPM, the propeller is more draggy. A more draggy propeller either means that it's going to make more pitch, it's going to make more thrust because it has more pitch angle on it, or it could mean that it's a less aerodynamic propeller. So it's really difficult, pretty much impossible to kind of figure that out reliably. But maybe I'll be able to tell in the air. Probably not. They were pretty close to one another. Let's see. Those HQ props made great power. I will say that. I don't really, like, they made enough power where, like, I don't really need or want more. And that's a good place to be. But that's on, you know, this specific rig at this specific weight, with these specific motors. So, all right, we're going to go straight upstairs and get an RPM, an unloaded RPM. There we go. All right. And 60,054. 60054. Which is a little bit lower. Let's fly him. Tune actually feels totally fine, but let me get it downstairs where I can hear it. After Wednesday's live stream, I spent some time with these props trying to figure it out. And the PID loop was getting upset like at 35 to 40% throttle. And it's not happening right now. What was super weird is a couple of the batteries that I flew, these props were totally fine. And then like halfway through the battery, which makes no sense, they started to act up. Oh, I got through there. Whoa! Easy, fella. Response time is still awesome. These are a little bit heavier, so technically the response time is a little bit worse. But not so much that I can tell. They don't necessarily feel like... Oh my god. They don't necessarily feel like they have more power. Like, it's not super noticeable. One thing I will absolutely say is that this propeller is going to be way more durable. You can say that about all these GemFan props compared to the HQ ultralights. The HQ props have absolutely sacrificed durability for flight performance. That's for sure. And that's okay. It's nice to have a durable prop and a slightly better performing prop. There is nothing wrong with the way this prop performs. I think that I can tell that the response time is not quite as good, which makes sense because they're heavier. There we go. That's the end of the battery. 2 minutes and 23. So runtime 2:23. Okay. Let me just put another battery straight through them. And that's going to be this one here. Let's just get right back into it, and then I'll try to quantify some of this stuff. Response time, balance, all that good stuff. I'm really happy that these 1210s are performing normally. I was very weirded out the other night by, because I've never really noticed these 1210s being out of balance. Straight upstairs. Do that full RPM blast. Oh my god, so reckless. It feels so awful to do that. Okay. I'll bring it downstairs and land it. Or crash it. 58,287. 58,287. 58. Oh! 58,287. Let me write that down. Oh, wow, it's lower. I'll be damned. Okay, we'll leave the other one then. 60,054 is the one that we'll leave. Interesting. That basically just means that this battery has been abused a little bit more than the other one. I might have run this battery a little bit. You know what? On the walk snail RC drift car chasing rig, it was very easy to over discharge the batteries when I was struggling to get them unplugged. I was trying to go from one cube to the other. So yeah, that's fine. Hey, rejected. Hey, double rejected. Ah! Oh my god. I absolutely love going out of this and then power looping back into it, which I just did a horrendously bad job of. Oh god, no! It's me. No, no, no. Whoo! Oh, now it's starting to do it again. See it? What the hell is this about? And I can hear it. You see it and hear it. What? None of the HQ props are doing that, and so the balance rating of this propeller is going to be just good. It's not going to be better or best. I don't know. I don't understand this at all, but it's happening, and it doesn't happen with the other props. And that's kind of all that matters. Ah. Oh boy, these are falling off a cliff. Where is that? Where are you, little fella? What? Where is it? Oh my god. Oh my god, it's stuck up here. That's weird. I've never gotten it stuck up there before. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea why this is happening. This happened the other night. It's so strange. So strange. And now it's flying. Oh, yeah, I mean, the PID loop is now overactive. So that's going to make it fly like shit. Yeah, it's flying terrible now. I think I'm done with the GemFan 1210s, if I'm totally honest. Other than the ones that are drilled for 1.5mm. Yep, there we go. Interestingly, a little bit longer runtime, but I was flying it really hard. 2 minutes and 37, 2:23, 37, 7, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 32, 2. Oh, watch this. 2. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, 2. Oh, 2:30. Exactly 2:30. Yeah, great. 2:30. 2 minutes and 30. That is a negligible difference in runtime, to be completely honest. Yeah, I have loads of these 1210s as well, Metal. Look, the 1210s are still a fantastic... Oh, Jesus Christ, Cannon. The 1210 is still an awesome propeller. It's, you know, it's just that the propellers that are now newer are a little bit better. So, yeah, no need to... Don't throw all of your 1210s away. Disabled Combat Injury says, in your Instagram story today, I thought Teddy got a poopy paw print on the blanket. I realize it's a giant tortilla. Green Horde says, maybe another test at the drift track to get full 1 Mississippi thrust test. I think I think upstairs is fine. So I can hear it. I can even kind of hear it in the basement. We got a pretty similar number in the basement as upstairs. You can just hear, like, when you go full throttle, it'll go... If you don't, like, and then it'll stay. When I'm doing it upstairs, I can hear it go, wah, and just sit at that constant pitch. Once it hits that constant pitch for more than like a quarter of a second, like, that's it. It's actually going to go down as the battery sags a little bit. Weirdo with the skateboards in the house. What's up, homie? Martin Tanley says, got in, first real crash, swapped frames, one motor is failing to go, everything looks clean, new motor. Take the motor that's acting up and another motor and swap them. If the problem goes with the motor's the problem. If the problem stays, the ESC channel is the problem. All right, cool. So next we're going to dive into the triblades. And so let's pull these guys. That was a brand new set of GemFan 1210s that just dropped perfectly right onto these motors. The inner diameter of the prop hole in the 1210s is perfect. It does not need to be drilled out at all, which is great. All right, so let's talk about some of this stuff. Balanced, average, let's say. Response time, I'm going to say 4 out of 5. Power in flight, I'm going to say 4 out of 5 as well. And then we'll shift those around. Yeah, other than halfway through the battery, for some reason, apparently the propeller's coming out of balance. It makes no sense. But look, it's happening. It's happening with these propellers and none of the other ones. And so, yeah, they must be not as well balanced. That's the only thing that makes any sense. What I'm assuming is they're just ever so slightly out of balance, and I don't know. But look, they can't possibly be as well balanced as another propeller that's not doing that. And that's the that's the end of that conversation, you know? It's very weird, though. Very, very weird. Admittedly. So those are the biblades. You want to go with biblades if you want the most possible efficiency, or if you want the most slidey flight experience. Also, like, if you want the most off-throttle throw. When you come off the throttle with biblades, this thing will sail all the way across the room. It's so much fun. It's more closely related to a 5-inch flight experience than any other propeller that you can put. Now we're going to be diving into the triblades, and what you might notice is that, like, I hit gaps a little bit more consistently because of the extra grip that the triblades are going to give you. They're not going to be as fun to just fling across the room, but they are really accurate. This is why all the racers run the triblades, right? They want that accuracy. They don't care about how far they can throw it inverted and how cool that looks. We are going to go to, next up, we're going to go, let's stay on the GemFan train, and we're going to go to the 1219S's, and then we'll test both of the HQ ultralights. So let's get a fresh set of 1219s. That is not fresh. That is. There we go with a clockwise, counterclockwise. Come on. Get. Counterclockwise. And then I need clockwise. There we go. All right, those are absolutely fresh. The reason why I'm using fresh props is for the balance testing. Once these propellers have been crashed a bunch, that's kind of out the window. Let's weigh them. Four GemFan 1219S's weigh 0.74 of a gram. Divided by 4, that is 0.185. So these are the heaviest of the props that we're going to try tonight. 0.185. And this is the GemFan 1219S. All right. And yeah, the scale's staying right on 0.74. Great. Turn the scale off, throw these on the rig, and fly it around. So the PID tune that this thing comes with is currently dialed in specifically for these propellers. That doesn't really matter, though. For the record, these propellers do like to be drilled out just a little bit. The inner diameter is almost perfect, but I like to pass the drill bit down these like just once or twice to remove just a little bit of material. They're a little tighter than the 1210s. I think I've actually already maybe pre-drilled this set. But yeah, make sure you have a 0.99 millimeter drill bit, my friends. It will save you a lot of money in slipped motor shafts on bells. Bellschnickel. What is that from? That's from The Office. All right. These propellers also go really far down on the motor shafts. They made the hubs thinner to save a little bit of weight, which is kind of cool. These props, much like the 1210s, are the durability monsters. Both of the GemFan props here have sacrificed being a little bit heavier for some extra durability. So yeah, if you want the durable tri-blade, this is absolutely the one. It's really amazing how much hammering these props can take. Much like my ex-wife. Moving on. All right, we're good. All four of them are on there. Fresh battery. Let's get it upstairs and whale it across the room and see what it does. No, let's put it onto Betaflight first, because that's what we're doing. Lewis says, since we're talking about props, any opinions on GemFan 1610s? I have a ton of them. They're great. They are great. Nothing wrong with those. Same kind of deal. The GemFan 1610s are more durable, slightly heavier. The HQ ultralight 1.6 inch biblades are a little bit lighter, a little bit more fragile. Same kind of deal. Levster's hanging out. Medderson says you can make those power and response scores as whole numbers, then make a formula that averages / compares them. Call it index of affluency. I'm not a spreadsheet guy, so I'll do it the caveman way. All right, I'm caught up on chat. Great. Here we go. Let's see what happens when we go to triblades now with the RPMs. We should see a drop. So these are 19 pitch, 12-19. There should be a big difference here, actually. If they're a true 19 pitch, which I don't know if they are. Zoom in for you guys a little bit. And here we go. 64,000. 64, just barely touching 65. 64. 64 to 65. So I'm going to say, I can't believe how close these guys are. I'm going to say 64,000. 64,250, because it was just two of them were just barely touching. Yeah. Loaded RPM is looking like a bit of a wash here, if I'm totally honest. I can't believe that these are coming so close to each other. 64,000 is far enough below the 8-bit ESC maximum RPM of 85,000 that I think we're okay here. I don't think there's anything weird going on that's like toxicifying the test results. Is that a word? Listen to too much Slipknot. All right. I can't believe how close those unloaded numbers are. But, I mean, if you look at the pitch, it makes sense, right? We went from the first propeller, which is 1.2 pitch. We went to 10 pitch. Now we're going all the way up to 19 pitch, but I don't really think that this is a true 19 pitch. Let's see how it is in the air. Let's give it a rip. Am I on the right scene? Yeah. Oh man, the PID loop's getting a little weird already. I can hear it. Okay. The PID loop is getting a lot weird. Okay, that is a disaster. So this is the worst balanced yet. That's probably not even going to get... Oh, yeah, see, 48,000. With the PID loop freaking out like that, we're not going to get a good number out of it. Oh, boy. Oh, my God. What the hell? Oh, my God. Yo, this is awful. See, so... This is what I would expect from an unbalanced prop when the battery is freshly charged. It freaks out like this. Now that the battery is sagging down a little bit, it should get better. Where even is it? Wow, what the hell, dude? Why? That makes no sense. There's not a whole hell of a lot I can do about it, though. Whoa! Yo! Okay, these are a mess. Wow! It's just flying away on me. Okay, so... Wow. I usually fly rigs with more backed off PID tunes. I chose this rig for this test because it has a very aggressive PID tune. This is actually a good thing, even though like it kind of sucks that we won't get that maximum RPM. I'll try it again on the next battery, but this is what we want. Like we want, this is how you find out which propeller is better balanced, is that you crank the PID tune, you take the best balanced prop, you crank the PID tune way the hell up, and then you see how the other props react, you know what I mean? Oh my god, Teddy, what the hell, dude? Oh my god, dog, I'm gonna beat you with a stick. Well, no, I can't. I'm trying to get runtime comparisons, so I gotta let this idiot dog ruin the Pentagon. Oh boy, the runtime is... It's actually not that bad. 2 minutes and 12. But this is a nightmare. This is a complete... Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, what is happening? How is it... Oh, yeah. That's a mess. What the hell, dude? These are brand new. Wow, that's bad, dude. 2 minutes and 29. But man, oh wow. I can't fill. I mean, I can do that, but like, I can't really tell the response time. I can't really tell the power in flight because it won't. It's just such a mess. I mean, the response time does not feel great though. So I'm gonna say like 2 out of 5. It's probably gonna end up being 1 out of 5. I mean, the response time is easy because it's just the weight of the propeller, but it also has to do with the drag of the propeller. I can almost guarantee you that this is going to be 1 out of 5 for the response time, because it's going to be the heaviest, and it claims to be the most pitchy. But see this, it wound up to a higher number than the 1210, which is kind of interesting, but it is heavier than the 1210. Power and flight felt terrible because it won't spin all the way up. The Cabot Cow says, isn't it normal to have to back off the PIDs when the pitch of the prop is higher? If the pitch of the prop is actually higher, then maybe. But it's not, right? Because it's turning more RPM than the 1210, right? So it... Oh, for God's sakes. So, yeah, this is not a true 19 pitch, I don't think. Wow, that's... bad. Okay. Well, we're gonna put another battery through it. Yikes, man. Are you fucking kidding me? I just charged this battery. Oh my god. Hold on. Can you... There we go. I'm going to try another set of GemFan 1219s on here. Because that is ridiculous. First and foremost, this is running a tune specifically for this propeller that Betaflight put on this rig. So that is really weird. And I've run these 1219S props a bunch, and I've not had this issue before. So, yeah. These motors are starting to get banged up, like I said earlier, but what you're going to see is that the HQ props don't have this problem. And so, like, these motors kind of being banged up is a good thing because, again, it puts the PID loop, like, at its limit. And that's how we figure out if a propeller is balanced or not. So, this is, you know, we're not making excuses here, but wow, that was brutal. What on earth? So these are the red 1219S's that you can get from WeBleed. I'm going to put the gray 1219S's on here that came on this thing, that come from Betaflight. Shouldn't make any difference, but I don't know. I'm admittedly a little bit confused at the moment. This is very weird. Very, very weird. Left, left, right. I need another right. Come on, where's it at? All right, well, there's a full set of the grays. Wow, that was nasty. Good Lord. Okay. This is actually a used set of propellers that's going on here. I didn't fly them much, but I did fly them on this thing a little bit. I don't know, man. This is weird. Uriel says, it's the collective. What's the collective? Weirdo Skipper says, is there any analog whoops that can still run on a QX7, or is it too outdated? Yeah, you can still buy FR Sky Tiny Whoops. I think GetFPV even still has them. But yeah, I've seen FR Sky Tiny Whoops out there still being sold. Get yourself a Mobula 6. You'll get a 2G. Well, I guess it's not called the 2G4, but you'll get the Mobula 6 AIO, which is legendarily durable. These 1219s fit on the motors pretty well. I don't think I drilled these out, and they're on there. All right, let's see. Boy, that was shocking. I did not expect that. Got a surprise for you guys. I don't know if it's a good surprise or not, but it's a surprise nonetheless. Oh man, my stomach just growled. Everything's off. Please. Please, no. Stop it! Either S, are you going to connect or are you going to take forever? You're going to take forever. Yep, there it is. I'm going to take it off from here just so that Teddy doesn't try to eat it. All right, straight upstairs. Let's see if maybe we can get a full throttle pull with this. Probably not. It'll be super weird if these gray ones are fine, but the red ones are out of balance. Well, that's super weird. Why the hell? Boy, these boogie. Okay. I can't explain that. Wow, look at how much lower the RPM is, though. 56,617. 56,6. Call it 615. It's fine. I can actually hear the motors taking longer to wind up. So these props are almost definitely more pitchy. The response time is way worse, though. I can really feel... This feels... Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. This feels really lazy. Wow, these props feel completely different. Now that they're... Oh, I forgot to fix the pentagon. Yeah, wow. Well, if you want durable tri-blades, these are the ones. I don't know what the hell's going on with that set of red ones being a little bit out of balance there. That was super weird. But these gray ones are fine. I think GemFan sells these gray ones. I think these aren't Betaflight, Betafpv specific. But wow, yeah, we've taken a huge hit in response time with these props. The power still feels okay. It doesn't necessarily feel better though. They kind of obviously have more pitch because we're hitting so much of a lower RPM. What's really weird, though, is that they weren't hitting a lower RPM when I was just holding the rig. That doesn't make any sense. But that was on those red ones? Maybe those are a lower pitch or something? That makes no sense. No, that would not... That would not make any sense. How the hell am I going to get out of here? There we go. Dead hover. Now we got a little bit of battery left. Well, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to run these props either anymore. Maybe if I have like a really beefy motor. If you're running like an 802, maybe get these props going, but on a 702 motor, I ran this battery a little bit too far down. Nope, it bounced back up to 3.5. 2 minutes and 42 seconds. That's weird. 2 minutes and 42, 29, 40, 30, 32, 35. 2:35. The runtimes keep going up. Ignore the runtimes. It's impossible for me to figure that out accurately. I'm flying differently every battery. I'm only flying 2 batteries per rig. The runtime column is a waste of time. I kind of knew it was going to be, but I thought maybe on the tri-blades, we would see a huge reduction in runtime, but we're not, and that's okay. Power in flight. Man, it felt like they made less power. The response time, absolutely 1 out of 5. Absolutely the worst response time so far. Power in flight, I'm going to say, for right now, I'm going to say 3 out of 5. Wow. That is the most disappointing prop so far. But they are durable, which is nice. The red ones being out of balance, your guess is as good as mine. That makes no sense at all. Unless, like, I bent them when I was putting them on or something. Yeah, I don't know, man. That is really, really weird. Okay, I moving on. I'm yeah. Super strange. Great Scott says, when you tested the 1210, all those numbers were closer to 65,000 than even 64,500. When I tested the 1210s. All right, so let's make the 1210. I mean, look, they're all basically turning the same RPM. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Compared to all 3 of these, though, the 1210s were hanging around 64,000, much more than the other 2 props. So, comparing one to the other, these numbers are okay. So we're gonna leave them where they are, I should say. All right, pull these props off. We got 2 more to test. We got both HQ ultralight, the 1.1 pitch and the 0.9 pitch. I'll be really interested to see if I can tell a difference between these 2 and or what the RPMs say. All right. So now we are moving into propellers that absolutely need to be drilled out. Last time I used them. We'll try again, but yeah, don't mount any of these HQ props without drilling them out. You will wreck your motor bells. And then you'll just have a bunch of extra stators, and that's just sad. Because the stators don't die anywhere near as often as the bells. All right, 1219S. Very confusing. Very, very confusing results. Let's go high pitch first, because we were just flying high pitch triblades. Are these fresh? Yeah, these are fresh. Okay. We gotta go wait. And there we go. So they're coming in. Wow, they're so light. 0.67 of a gram. 4 equals 168. 0.168. 168. And so these are the HQ 1.2 by 1.1 by 3 now. And let me just double check that. And, well, they just say 31 millimeter by 3 on them, but on the package it says 1.2 by 1.1 by 3. So we will go with that. All right, let's throw these on and see what they do. I have really liked these props in the past. I don't love that they're a little bit less durable, but it's they seem to be durable enough. What's up, Azalea? You got doggo? Is he up there being bad, or are you just punishing him for the sake of punishing him?
Yeah.
There he is. There's the dog.
Oh, you're so fat.
Big sigh. Okay. Where is the plug? Here it is. All right, we need to blast through this testing. I can't believe how late it is already. Hey, I'm now on someone else's time slot. Go check out Spider Sugar and or Super Deluxe. My friends. All right. Tell them Ciotti sent you. Here we go. HQ ultralight higher pitch. Slightly higher pitch props. What a crybaby, this dog. Here we go. Wow. So I saw 64,000, but then it dropped off a cliff. 64. Wow, 60. 64. 60 down to 59. It's hitting 64, but then it's overheating. I guess. Oh my god, Teddy, please don't do this. We're gonna go with 60. We're gonna go with 63,000 because 2 of them hit 64, and then all right. So it's looking like this is maybe the pitchiest prop. Let's find out. That was a really weird test result. I gotta get through this though, and if it really is super pitchy like that, it's gonna rail in the air. So let's see. Hopefully I can tell. Hopefully I can tell. Let you know in a second. All right. And maybe we can tell with the in-flight RPM. Let's see. All right, 2 more props to test, and then we're out of here. Let's go upstairs real quick. Teddy! Oh boy, no! Man can't even fly up the stairs. All right, let's see. Oh boy. 56,771. Oh god. That was a big crash. 56,104. 56,000. Oh boy, Teddy. I bent one of these props up. I can hear it. That was a hard crash. 56,700. That is low. That is as low as the GemFan 1219. So in the air, we are seeing a... Oh, yeah, look at that. So I can't fault these propellers for that crash that I just put them through. We're just going to keep going because I can... The PID loop is not freaking out. I've got a little bit of jello. Woo! Okay. Yeah, response time feels great. Come on. Power feels fine. It doesn't feel like it's necessarily making more power though to warrant the extra pitch, which is odd. Boy, is it hard to... It's really hard though. It's really hard to stay subjective with thrust production. Oh my god. I don't even know what I hit there. Whoa, okay. Wait, is this done? I got a little bit more. Oh, just barely made it. I don't know, man. I don't know about this. 2 minutes and 15. It had that bent. Oh, I can see the one propeller. All right, so this is when I say that the HQ ultralights are more fragile. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. This does not happen on the GemFan props. See that blade? Focus, you jackass. Come on. See that blade sticking up there? Look at the crease mark on it. You see the crease mark? That's what these HQ ultralight props do, unfortunately. They're just, you know, you're sacrificing durability for lightweight. That's the game. You know, we do that with all propellers that we run. I'm going to bend this. No, I'm going to replace this one prop, and I bet you the problem goes away because the rest of them look fine, and it was probably just that second crash. I hit really hard into the ceiling. So yeah, let's get this one off, and then we'll run another battery, and we'll probably get a little bit more run time. I'm actually throwing that one full-blown away. High right is what I need, and I have an extra one in here. Fantastic. Oh, you fuck. Stop! God damn it, fat shark. All right, here we go. And let's grab another battery off of here. And get it rolling. I'm only pulling these batteries off when they're fully charged, for the record. Okay. And away we go. Donnie Lama says, what is the motor output limit? You put the motor, start at like 70 and then move up from there. Or start at 60 if you want to be totally safe. Oh my god. This feels way better already. Yeah, the PID loop was freaking out on that bent prop. Let me try not to smash it into the ceiling this time. All right. Oh! Come on now. I hit something jingly too. Come straight. Oh shit! Can somebody check the RPM? I disarmed and rearmed way too fast. I didn't wreck the props though. Oh my god, it's performing so much better. Go figure. I should have swapped that prop last battery. Yeah, everything feels better. The power production, the response time now feels better. Ah! I waited too long to blip the throttle there. Oh, stop that. If I only had air mode on a switch, I could have just gotten out of that. No problem. Whoa, okay. Regardless of all this, you guys should buy all these propellers and test them for yourself because they're cheap, easy to swap out, and you might, you know, like a completely different prop than me. Notice how many times I'm going through these gates right now? Yes, I'm a little bit warmed up, but I have absolutely noticed that with these HQ ultralight props, I hit gaps more consistently. I think it's because they're so light that the response time is like mind-reading. And then the triblades have more grip. So they just go where you're pointing. And you have a tendency to point where you want to go. Dead hover, we're good. .51, 3.52, we got another couple. Yeah, for a little while I thought it was just placebo, but it just kept happening more and more and more and more. And that's kind of hard to argue with. 3.5. Yeah, it's time to go. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah, the runtime column is worthless. 2 minutes 40. But as you can see, like, the runtime is fine on all of these. And they have roughly the same runtime, which is kind of cool. Response time. Damn good. I just realized this, like, 1 out of 5, 4 out of 5 is kind of backwards if you're thinking about, like... Yeah. Let's do best, average, and worst for everything. Response time. Best. Good. Worst. Response time on these is, I'm going to say good. Power and flight. Good. Good. Average. I'm going to say good on this for the power and flight. And then the balance is fantastic. We're going to say best. All right, last one is the HQ 1.2 by 0.9 by 3. And we will weigh them first. I'm going to run a set of clears. And we've got high left, high right, and high right. All right, come on, come on, come on. Gotta get this going and wrap this on up. 0.69 I saw. Yep, 0.69. These are light. 0.69 divided by 4 equals 0.172. Wait, that's kind of heavy. What? Why are these so heavy? What? Why are these so heavy? Did I do the math wrong? No, 0.69 divided by 4. That's weird. They should not be heavier than the higher pitched ones. Well, regardless, they're lighter than both of the GemFans. So if you want a little bit less pitch, these are what you want. I'm not going to bounce back and forth over that. These scale, the reason why I weigh 4 props is because these scales get less and less accurate the less and less weight you put on them. And so, yeah, it's just the scale not being absolutely perfect. It's a $20 scale. What do you expect? Come on, battery. Sit in there. There we go. Ah, get. Okay. Okay. What are we doing? Pulling props off? Yep. Hold on. Let me check something. 1.2 by 0.9. Yep. All right. I just want to make sure I had the right ones. This spreadsheet will be available over on Patreon after this stream. Unless I forget. If I forget to put it up there, somebody remind me and I'll do it. But I'll try my best to remember. I'm going to shut this down like as soon as we're done with this testing. So if you guys have any burning questions, hurry up and ask them. Because I got to get upstairs and help Maggie set up. Actually, I need to clean this shit out of this basement for the party. That's pretty much what my contribution is going to be. Although I helped with some other stuff. Higher pitch HQ ultralights. I've been really impressed by how well these low pitch HQ ultralights performed. I kind of slagged them off at first, and I was like, I don't need something with less pitch. And then I tried them, and I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. Let's see how they go. So these are fresh. I've not drilled these out. Yeah, these are a little bit too tight. Let me drill these out real quick, like. Hell, that might actually be why these are slightly heavier. Is that I haven't drilled them out yet. Yeah, weighing 10 would make a lot of sense. Disabled. Uriel says, what's the meaning of live? Free of life? Free choice? Maybe. McMucus says, is the Ant Nano camera you can buy plug and play for 2G4? I doubt it. Been trying to replace mine, but they all come with the wrong plug and no holes. There are like almost no. You can ask Kevin Sumner about this. When Kevin Sumner got all those Tiny Whoop cameras in, he had to change the plugs on damn near all of them. There are, I don't know if there are any cameras that are actually plug and play for the 2G4. It seems like everybody is using either a different sized plug, JST 1.0 versus 1.25, for example, or they're moving the pads around. So the pins around rather. So the pins are in different spots. So yeah, I think the answer to that is no, unfortunately. Oh man, the dog's anal glands must have leaked. It smells like shit down here. Louis says, how important is taking care of 1S batteries? Very important. And how do you go about doing that? Batteries are just expensive about to worry about it. Fly like I fly. When the battery is at 3.5 volts when you're hovering, stop flying it. That's the best thing that you can do. That battery will bounce once you have it unplugged from the quad up to a voltage of almost storage voltage. The way that we hurt batteries is over discharging them down too low. So just don't do that. And that's really the best way that you can be nice to them. Keep storing them at storage voltage definitely does help. And yeah, that's about it. Also, don't run them on setups that discharge them in less than 2 minutes. That's going to get the batteries too hot, and that hurts them as well. Yeah, these props absolutely need to be drilled out, just like the biblades. The biblades are hands down the worst, though. 90-degree props, great. 90 wouldn't work. 89 would work, but 90 would not work. Oh God, yeah, I needed to actually drill that out a little bit more. I'm in a hurry, and I just like jammed it onto that motor. That's going to be really hard to get off of there. That one was okay. All right, get into the Betaflight, fire them up, see what's what. Here we go. And power. And Betaflight, motors tab, zoom for you guys a little bit. Let's see what's going on. 64, 65. 64, 65. 64. Whoa, something bad just happened. 64, 65. These spun up. That was weird and scary. These spun up higher than any of the other ones, including the biblades, which is, it's not that weird. They're a lower pitch. I think these are actually a lower pitch. So I'm going to say that these are 64,750. Basically, that's higher than this turn. They were hitting 65,000 more often. The biblades here, the HQ biblades, they were bouncing back and forth between 64 and 65, like bang, 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 bang. These ones that I just ran, they were sitting at 65 more than they were at 64. So that's why I'm kind of doing this. All right. Oh, I hope it didn't hurt that channel. Sometimes it gets weird when you rip that slider up really fast, like I was. So hopefully that's all that was going on there. Perfect. 2 batteries just hit fully charged. Let's run them and see what's going on. I think I'm going to really like these. From what I remember, every time I've flown these propellers, I've really, really liked them. Come on, ELRS. I'm just going to unplug it and plug it back in real quick. All right, here we go. HQ 1.2 by 0.9 by 3. These have a slightly higher hover point. I think that these propellers are actually like the lowest pitch of all of these. 60,250. Yep, that's the highest RPM. 60,250. So they're super lightweight. They've got 3 blades for grip. Hey, 3 blades for grip, super lightweight, crazy response time. You really see it on the yaw. Just super snappy on yaw. Hey. Oh, God. That's brutal. Yo. Oh, come on now. Man, I'm flying like an idiot all of a sudden. Oh boy, something just happened. Something happened. What the hell, dude? Now this is doing the same shit again as the 1210s. What the hell's going on with this? What's your deal, little guy? I mean, it did it with the 1210s, like with this strange consistency. Let's put it in turtle mode real quick. No, it feels fine. What on earth? And now all of a sudden it's not fine. At full throttle, it's freaking out. I can hear it and I can see it. What the hell? Oh my god. Okay, well. And I've forgotten to fix the pentagon all night. No, no, no. Don't do it. Yes. A little tiny bit more. Now it's fine. Yeah, this is super weird. That's the first time that it's done it with an HQ prop, though. 2 minutes and 34. Doesn't really matter, but... that's super disappointing that it's... It would have made so much sense if it just did it on the GemFans. We could just say, like, yes, both of the GemFan props are a little bit less balanced. I do think that they maybe are still. What the hell, man? I mean, it could be anything. Like, it could be an antenna vibrating against something. It could be all kinds of weird stuff, but it's starting up and it's doing it and then not doing it in a very weird way. Yeah, I am confused by this. Now it's fine again. Pretty sure that these are the actual lowest pitch prop, though, because the hover point is noticeably lower. Super weird. All right, let's see. 59,121, a little bit lower. This battery's not performing as well as the other one. All right, so we got some interesting data here. It's flying fine now, so I can just go based on this. Hey, I didn't need to disarm. Oh, so close. Oh, wow. Oh, no. Oh, don't do it. Don't do this to me. Thank you. Hey! Oh! I thought it was going to go through that gate, but it didn't. But I was able to make a quick correction there. That was kind of nice. No! No! Oh, no! So close! I've been trying to get that dive to power loop back into it for fucking weeks. I thought that was the one. No! Oh, boy. Try it one more time. Ah! I have gotten better at it, and I do know how to actually do it now. You gotta have, like, maintenance throttle. at the bottom. You gotta. It has to be a gentle dive. It can't be like a big bombast. Like that was too much of a dive. You gotta really like kind of just limp it into it. Hey, this is running on a shitty antenna, by the way. This is a whip antenna with the ground plane removed, which is the worst performance possible. But I've done it for... Oh, that was hot shit, bro. That was one of the cleanest Matty flips I've ever done down here. I ran the battery down a little bit too low, 2 minutes and 34. Wow, that's exactly the same runtime as the previous battery. That's weird. All right, so we had that one bit of weirdness with these props, which is super confusing. I had a lot of that weirdness with the GemFan props. I don't know what that means. I'm super confused by that, but in the past couple of days, it's done it a bunch of times with the GemFan props, and it's only done it this one time with the HQ props. And so I think it's safe to say that the GemFan props are not quite as well balanced. I think that's fair. Could be wrong, though. Could totally be a coincidence. It would be it has now happened at least 5 or 6 times with the GemFan props, so that'd be a hell of a coincidence. We're going to say power and flight is good. Response time is, let's say, great. Balance is, we're just going to say good, I think, because of that little bit of weirdness on that one battery. It could be unfair. I might want to say best there. Yeah. There it is. This is the best I can kind of do. All 5 of these propellers fly great. They all are all subtly different from one another. The weights of the propellers are super interesting. The GemFans are the heaviest, but they're the most durable. The HQ triblades are slightly lighter. The HQ biblades are outrageously lightweight. This is ridiculous, and you do feel this for sure. Yeah, and that's why they have this incredible response time. The power is still really good, though. I'm really impressed by these HQ buys. I think the long and short of it is the reign of the GemFan Tiny Whoop propellers is over. I believe HQ waited and maybe learned from what GemFan did and improved their props. And you absolutely sacrifice durability, hands down. But I think that they are just barely durable enough, and they're easy to swap on and off, and so away you go. If you want the biblade flight experience, a little bit looser, a little bit more slidey, a little bit more off-throttle throw, get the HQ 1.2 by 1.2 by 2 biblades, or if you have a super high KV motor, get the biblades. Both of the HQ triblades are great. Very hard to tell a difference between the two of them. The weight is super close. The pitch is super close. The RPMs that they're turning, 63,000 versus 64, 56 versus 60. I think personally I like the 0.9s better. But on a lower KV motor, get the more pitchy props. On a higher KV motor, get the 0.9s. I think that's a very safe way. Actually, just get them both and fly them both. I will say this, though. It's hard to tell the difference between them. So get one of them in one color and another one in another color, so that you don't get them mixed up. Because if you mixed and matched and had like the 0.9 back here, the 1.1 up here, it would just be weird. You don't want to do that. So, yeah. That's That's wild. Good testing though. I'm really blown away by the GemFan biblades. Next live stream, we will fly these 0.9s against, I'm sorry, HQ biblades. I'm really impressed by the HQ biblades. Yeah, next stream we'll fly the 0.9, the low pitch triblades against the biblades, and we'll just do a straight up head to head. But I'm gonna let you guys hold on. Render says, are the HQ biblades times consistent with your previous experience? Run times? Yeah. The runtime of the biblade seems to be about the same. This runtime that I gathered, we didn't run enough batteries to really figure it out. The runtimes were all close enough where it was me flying different. Nick Buca says prop slipping on the shaft. I would think more motor shaft slipping on the bell. That could be when because the props are definitely not slipping on the shafts. That could be what was causing that weirdness, but no, they're all solid. None of these motor shafts have slipped. Menardson says maybe the light props not only bend easier but are more sensitive performance-wise to being bent. Just a guess. Could be, but the GemFan props are the durable ones, and they were causing this problem the most. It's super weird. Cool. I'm caught up on chat. Thanks for hanging, friends. Buy some of these and test for yourself and see what you think. Don't let my testing affect you, though. It's impossible for that to happen. But try to go into it open-minded and don't use my testing as a guide and say, yeah, Ciotti was right. Also, don't specifically try to prove me wrong, because that's just placebo in the opposite direction, right? You got to try to it's hard, man. It's pretty much impossible to not let things affect your judgment, but have it in your head. Have in your head that the placebo is very strong and the differences between these are very slight. That's kind of all you can do. Thanks for hanging, friends. CiottiFPV.com. Support me. I'll keep doing this. I love you. Bye. I'm not ready. Dirt. Here's some more flying from Rampage. God knows what I was flying. Come on, computer. You're better than this. No, you're not. Love you. Bye. See you guys on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Later.